Chapter 1736, Northern Plains Upper Hand. Chapter 1736, Northern Plains Upper Hand, Heavenly Court Battlefield. Kill. Deafening battle roars resounded. The morale of the Northern Plains immortals soared to an unprecedented height. Giant Sun, Immortal Venerable, had made his move. It had extraordinary meaning. His descendants all felt a huge rise in their morale, along with great increase in their strength. How can this be? A Heavenly Court immortal suddenly stiffened in the air, unable to move. Before him, a famous expert of Northern Plains, Wisdom Path Gu Immortal Lu Hui, let out a breath of air. I was almost killed by you. You were really so close. It is such a pity. Cold sweat dripped down the Heavenly Court Gu Immortal's forehead. Your killer move was clearly unable to bind me. Humph. The amazing one is Giant Sun, Immortal Venerable. You take no credit in this. Lu Hui sneered. Then what about earlier when our side was suppressed by fate? Moreover, who cares about who the credit belongs to? Life or death, victory or defeat, these are the only important things. Go die. He waved his hand lightly, taking the enemy's life. His eyes were narrow and his gaze was chilling as he sized up his surroundings with ill intentions. Who should be next? You cannot break my defense. Don't waste your effort. A Heavenly Court Gu Immortal stood steadfast and unmoved, his whole body covered in an extremely tough barrier. Northern Plains Gu Immortal Yu Yangzi took in a deep breath. He felt the vast new strength in his body. His dejectedness from earlier vanished as his confidence soared. The current me is not the same as before. Immortal Killer Move, Decomposition. Yu Yangzi's original name was Yi Lui Hua, and he cultivated Rule Path. After becoming a Gu Immortal, he achieved remarkable feats repeatedly, but Yi Lui tribe did not give him the treatment he deserved. In a fit of anger, he defected from the tribe and became a demonic path Gu Immortal. In his later years, Yi Lui tribe was jointly pushed aside and suppressed by many Huangjin tribes. Yi Lui Hua, who had become rank 8, was welcomed back to become Yi Lui tribe's first supreme elder in a grand manner and returned to the righteous path. He relied on his own strength to achieve feats that was unattainable for ordinary Gu Immortals, making the entire tribe lower its head and admit its past mistake. Yi Lui Hua's life history was painted with legendary tales that stimulated countless future generations. But even after returning to Yi Lui tribe and taking the position of first supreme elder, he did not use his original name and still went by Yu Yangzi. How can this be? The Heavenly Court Gu Immortal was pale from shock. The defense that he prided himself on continued to break apart before disintegrating completely. With the help of Giant Sun, Immortal Venerable, Yu Yangzi directly reversed the position of the strong and weak. The Heavenly Court Gu Immortal fighting against him soon died a miserable death. Chink, chink, chink. 3 Heavenly Court Immortals were fighting Yuan Ben. Yuan Ben was a rank 8 Gu Immortal who primarily cultivated Bone Path and had shocking battle strength. While he was alive, he was considered the #1 battle strength in Northern Plains Gu Immortal world. Even the other 4 regions often heard of his famous name. His physique was not strong-built. Instead, he was slightly on the bony side. But his whole body was covered in extremely tough, white bone armor. He held a white bone spear in his right hand, which created a storm when he waved it. In his left hand, he held a bone sword. The sword light it gave off was cold and dark. Yuan Ben roared loudly when he received a portion of the yellow light. His armor suddenly shot out countless bone spikes. 1 Heavenly Court Gu Immortal, who was surrounding him, could not dodge in time and died miserably after being pierced by hundreds of spikes. Yuan Ben took the chance to rush forward and pierce the second Gu Immortal's heart with his spear while slicing off the third Gu Immortal's head with his sword. But he did not feel any excitement or joy. Instead, he looked slightly sad. It is unfortunate you did not have all your Gu worms and could not display your full strength. Furthermore, I obtained ancestors' help. This battle, there is no honor in winning. Boom! With a loud bang, Duke Long was sent flying like a cannonball. Dragon roars resounded as Duke Long quickly stabilized himself. Suddenly, an enormous shadow shrouded over him. Duke Long quickly raised his head and saw Calamity Luck Altar pressing down like a mountain. Duke Long gave a cold grunt and clenched his fists with no intention to dodge. Lord Duke Long, let me lend you a hand. Heavenly Court Gu Immortal Wu Shuang activated a killer move against Duke Long. Immortal killer move. Peerless. Duke Long took a deep breath and punched at Calamity Luck Altar. Immortal killer move. Chaotic Dragon Fist. Peerless. Chaotic Dragon Fist. Fist shadows flew and set off a violent gale. Calamity Luck Altar swayed unsteadily as it was struck by tens of millions of fist shadows. This Duke Long is still so absurdly strong. Bing Sai Chuan gritted his teeth. Calamity Luck Altar had also received Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's amplification. Its strength had risen by several times, but was still unable to suppress Duke Long. But right at this time, a giant flew over and joined the battlefield. It was 7 Extreme Desolation. Die, Duke Long. The 7 Extreme Desolation giant roared as it spat out countless pitch-black needles that shot towards Duke Long. Damn it. Heavenly Court Gu Immortal Wu Shuang stared with a furious expression. He wanted to help, but was blocked by other Northern Plains Gu Immortals. Northern Plains Gu Immortals had rich battle experiences, and these Gu Immortals summoned by Call of the Ancient were experts of their eras. After fighting for so long, they were already able to tacitly coordinate. Duke Long was using Chaotic Dragon Fist to block Calamity Luck Altar, but suffered from 7 Extreme Desolation's attack at the same time. These pitch-black needles were extremely powerful and had explosive momentum. Duke Long felt a chilling sensation of pain before they even touched him. That a sharp light flashed past Duke Long's eyes. Immortal Killer Move. Clear Dragon Vision. With the activation of the Investigative Killer move, he immediately saw through many details of the pitch-black needles and knew this move contained the essence of Dark Path and was used to counter defensive methods. If he only used his dragon scales or 9 dragons protection, he would probably have countless holes in his body and be heavily injured. Then let's use offense against offense. Duke Long opened his mouth and breathed out heavily. The chi currents surged as they instantly formed an Immortal Killer Move. Immortal Killer Move. Chi Current Scissors. Countless white chi currents charged towards the pitch-black needles. Chi currents cut through the air like sharp blades, cutting apart all the black needles in their path. Chi current scissors collided with pitch-black needles. Each side dissipated by more than half of their original quantity, but there were some that escaped the collision and flew towards Duke Long and 7 Extreme Desolation. Almost at the same time, Duke Long gave a muffled grunt after being pierced by over 10 pitch-black needles, while several bones and muscles of 7 Extreme Desolation's body were cut by chi current scissors. These injuries were shared by the 7 Big Dipper Immortals inside 7 Extreme Desolation. They endured the pain as they coordinated their efforts in activating 7 Extreme Desolation to directly go after Duke Long. Duke Long's side. He could only retreat. Since the battle started, this was the first time he had retreated on his own initiative. The enemy's momentum was so strong that Duke Long had no choice but to retreat. His killer move Heavenly Dragon's Last Stand could indeed let him be tyrannical among rank 8s, especially during the last moments of his life. He would have complete dominance over rank 8 Gu Immortals. But, in front of a rank 9 killer move, Heavenly Dragon's Last Stand paled greatly, losing much significance. Besides the might of the killer move itself, there was also a mysterious and profound change that was occurring. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's attack had been an offensive killer move which originated from Northern Plains and struck Central Continent's Heavenly Court. It crossed 2 regions without any decrease in its power. Heavenly Court's own defense was extremely strong, but it was not a match against Giant Sun's attack. Fortunately, during the critical moment, Star Constellation, Immortal Venerable made a move and blocked Giant Sun's attack. But after being blocked, Giant Sun's attack changed its nature and transformed into an amplification method which overturned the whole battle situation. There were 4 main kinds of special techniques regarding the usage of killer moves: consecutive moves, variation moves, attached moves, and split moves. The so-called variation move used a certain killer move as the base and added in new attributes to achieve a different effect. For instance, Fang Yuan's Myriad Self-Killer move was the base for Strength Path Giant Hand. But if Fang Yuan activated the killer move, Myriad Self absolutely would not transform into Strength Path Giant Hand. These two had their own differences. In contrast, Giant Sun's attack seemed to be able to transform at will. One moment, it was an offensive killer move, while immediately after, it became an amplification method. the attainment that giant sun immortal venerable possessed in using the variation move technique had already surpassed Duke Long's level of understanding. My strength seems to be dissipating. Looks like Ancestor Giant Sun's amplification cannot be maintained for long. We need to stop focusing on fighting, and while the amplification still exists, we need to break through the enemy's defense line and seize fake Gu. As time passed, the Northern Plains Gu immortals gradually realized something. Giant Sun's attack transformed and became a powerful amplification method, but this strength was quickly dissipating. Giant Sun's attack was much more explosive than heroes among people. But looking at the duration and area of coverage, heroes among people undoubtedly covered a larger area and could last for a longer time. Duke Long's expression changed. He was barely able to match both Calamity Luck Altar and 7 Extreme Desolation. Now that Northern Plains Immortals were all attacking the Refinement Path formation, he was simply unable to defend it. Heavenly Court Gu Immortals gathered and formed a defensive line in front of the damaged Refinement formation, but under the berserk rush of the Northern Plains Gu Immortals, the defensive line was on the verge of breaking. All kinds of immortal killer moves collided. Gu immortal corpses fell from the sky from time to time. Both sides staked their lives against each other. Gu immortal deaths rose steeply around the thin defensive line. Northern Plains side was betting it all in this one fight, while Heavenly Court members were defending with all their strength. Both sides gained constant reinforcements. Gu immortals awakened from Heavenly Court immortal graveyard and rushed to the battlefield to reinforce the defensive line. While from the phantom image of the River of Time, Northern Plains experts stepped out and went to fight without saying a word. The defensive line was teetering on the edge of collapsing. Fairy Ziwei had already joined the battlefield and was using all her might to resist the Northern Plains Immortals' offense. Suddenly, a faint shadow appeared beside Fairy Ziwei, Northern Plains Gu Immortal expert Lu Lu Lu. This person was a rank 8 expert but did not have a good reputation. When he was alive, he was the only rank 8 Gu immortal in Lu tribe, and according to the customs, he should have inherited the first Supreme Elder's position. But from a young age, Lu 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 had never fought openly and only bullied the weak while fearing the strong. All his attacks were usually sneak attacks. His reputation was so bad that others could not bring themselves to respect or trust him. If he took the position and became Lu tribe's first Supreme Elder, it would instead burden the whole of Lu tribe and affect Lu tribe's image and reputation instead. Lu 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 was an anomaly and a unique existence in the history of Northern Plains. But because of this nature, he was still alive in this battlefield now. Chapter 1737, Heavenly Court's Foundation. Chapter 1737, Heavenly Court's Foundation. Lu 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 had set foot in the battlefield very early, but within his batch of Northern Plains experts, the others were already killed, and only he remained. This battle was too dangerous and fierce. It was very common to see the sacrifice of rank 8 Gu immortals. Lu Lu Lu's achievements in this battle were brilliant, having killed at least 8 Heavenly Court members. With his plentiful battle experiences, he had long been paying attention to Fairy Ziwei and had already deduced that she was a crucial key in this battle. Now he suddenly sneak attacked, but this attack had been prepared for a long time at that very instance. Fairy Ziwei's hair stood on end. She was suffocated with a feeling of fatal danger that filled her mind. Fairy Ziwei was well aware that she was simply unable to block the enemy with just her defensive methods. But she did not have the time to activate other defensive measures at this point. Right as Fairy Ziwei was about to die, at the crucial moment, a Heavenly Court Gu immortal rushed out from the side. It was Wu Shuang, who had reinforced Duke Long earlier. Swish! With a muffled noise, Lu Lu Lu's killer move that was like a gray knife pierced through Wu Shuang and even stabbed into Fairy Ziwei's shoulder. Damn it, this guy blocked most of the attack. Lu Lu Lu's expression rapidly changed as he quickly disappeared on the spot. Fairy Ziwei was heavily injured, but Wu Shuang was dead. Lu 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 disappeared without a trace. Who knew whose life would be gone the next time he appeared? Boom! Airwaves surged. Duke Long was sent flying hundreds of steps before he barely stabilized himself. He finally blocked 7 Extreme Desolation's killer move, but the price he paid were his 2 hands and the dragon scales in front of his chest. His hands drooped down powerlessly. His dragon scales were completely destroyed and blood had already dyed his chest. Duke Long immediately activated healing methods, but the dark path down marks in his hands were extremely dense. Moreover, they were arranged in a mystical way which greatly hindered the healing effect. Haha, Duke Long. You have been struck by our snake lure and dark life entanglement. You still want to recover your injuries in such a short period? Keep dreaming. A voice from within 7 extreme desolation sneered. Next, Calamity Luck Altar changed its battle style as it suddenly drilled down into the ground and sneak attacked Duke Long from below. An immortal killer move was activated and struck Duke Long. A giant golden light sphere appeared and trapped Duke Long within it. The light sphere was constantly shrinking, diminishing the space that Duke Long had. His bones were making creaking noises. His dragon scales were falling off continuously, and his dragon horns showed evident cracks. Bing Sichuan let out a huge breath of relief after seeing Duke Long trapped. Duke Long's speed was too shocking, while this killer move Calamity Luck Altar used was rather slow and would have been difficult for it to land on him. Fortunately, Northern Plains Gu Immortals were highly adept in fighting. Because they focused on his weaknesses, Duke Long's attention was drawn to them, and he could only defend passively. The coordination with 7 Extreme Desolation was also growing increasingly. Thus, it created an opportunity for the killer move to strike Duke Long. Cracked that a large part of Duke Long's dragon horns fell off, that a huge amount of purple hair scattered in the air. The 9 Dragon Phantoms of 9 Dragons protection killer move that coiled around Duke Long's body was barely resisting the huge pressure from the surroundings. Duke Long, your dominance has passed. Fate Gu will belong to my longevity heaven. As for you, death awaits. Bing Sichuan's voice spread throughout the battlefield. He could only entrap Duke Long within this short period and could not take his life, but it did not matter. He could use this to lower Heavenly Court's morale. Sure enough, many Heavenly Court members were shaken when they saw Duke Long being trapped. Duke Long suddenly laughed loudly. Even if I die here, so what? You Northern Plains Gu Immortals are not afraid of death. Do you think Heavenly Court members fear death? With just a few words, Heavenly Court's immortals cheered and their morale surged. We went to hibernate because of our responsibilities. It was not because we feared death. What a joke! Would we fear death? We are members of Heavenly Court. We defend the glory of humanity. We have never feared sacrifices since the remote antiquity era. The Heavenly Court Gu Immortals began to counterattack, not hesitating to use their physical bodies to block the killer moves of Northern Plains Gu Immortals. Once there was a chance, the Heavenly Court Gu Immortals would disregard their own bodies to attack fiercely and try to take the Northern Plains experts down together with them. Northern Plains Gu Immortals were valiant, but Heavenly Court Gu Immortals started to go crazy. Damn it. Bing Sichuan realized the situation. He had intended to lower Heavenly Court's morale, but Duke Long's words actually destroyed his plan. Bing Sichuan sneered, his voice spreading throughout the battlefield once again. Laughable. Your sacrifice is meaningless. No matter how many Gu Immortals are sacrificed on our side, they are only formed by the killer move of Red Lotus Demon Venerable. They were never alive to begin with. Using these dead people to exchange for your lives, we are definitely the ones winning here. How much foundation does your Heavenly Court have? How long can this go on? Foundation? Duke Long sneered. We have more than enough. He began to retaliate. He was unable to use his 2 hands, but his aura started to inflate as it covered him like a sturdy wall. Duke Long looked at Calamity Luck Altar with a gaze of disdain. Your longevity heaven was founded in the medieval antiquity era, and it has only been about 300,000 years. As for our Heavenly Court, it has already been 3,879,687. 3,879,687 years. Calculate it yourself, how many times longer it is compared to your longevity heaven. Don't try to estimate my Heavenly Court's foundation. Humph, you can never imagine it in your wildest dreams. Bing Sichuan, take a look at the immortal graveyard, and then look at your laughable phantom river of time. Bing Sichuan's expression sank, but he was silent. He did not need to look. He had all along been observing these 2 areas. There were fewer and fewer Northern Plains Gu Immortals coming out from the Phantom River of Time. But groups of Gu Immortals were still awakening from Heavenly Court constantly. Heavenly Court's foundation was truly unfathomable. Duke Long continued. How many people can a tribe have? How many geniuses will rise from a tribe? Bing Sai Chuan, look at our central continent. We chose all kinds of geniuses from all the mortals in central continent. Even if a tribe has a genius, can they truly nurture them? The tribe's blood and familial relations will become obstacles. This phenomenon of familial relations is much weaker in our sections. Moreover, the sex competitions are more fair and transparent. Even if a genius appears in the family of a tribe's higher-ups, how much effort can a tribe's Gu immortals spend to cultivate this genius junior? Gu immortals also have many things to do and are extremely busy. But in sects, a genius junior will receive guidance from many people. From the moment they start cultivating until they become a Gu immortal, they will receive appropriate guidance. There are many missions in sects which provide ample benefits for guiding juniors. Let me ask, how many tribes can do this? Duke Long's voice became louder and was filled with arrogance and pride. Immortals of Northern Plains, you are truly courageous to dare to invade Heavenly Court. Unfortunately, your understanding is bound by your tribal system. You have really underestimated Heavenly Court's foundation. Bing Sai Chuan was silent. He wanted to retort, but there were no words he could say. Because the truth was right here in full view, there was a constant flow of Gu immortals awakening from Heavenly Court's immortal graveyard. Over 3 million years ago, remote antiquity era, primordial origin immortal venerable looked at the surrounding human Gu immortals and nodded slightly. All of Central Continent's Gu immortals have gathered here. There are also a few friends from the other 4 regions. Lord Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable, we hurried here after receiving your call. We will listen to your instructions and teachings. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable smiled and expressed his suggestion. From today onwards, Central Continent will establish sects and take in disciples to impart our skills to the future generation. What? Abolishing the clan system? I had already heard of this rumor. But Lord Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable, you really want to do this? Isn't this too? The human Gu immortals discussed and showed reluctant expressions. Someone tried persuading in a careful tone. Lord Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable, you are the only rank 9 Gu immortal of the current world. If you want to establish your own clan, it will definitely be the #1 superforce in the whole world. Your children will inherit your glory and skills. All of our clans will definitely accept your clan's leadership. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable shook his head slightly. He looked at the persuading Gu immortal with a tranquil gaze. Clan? I would like to ask you, in history, have there been any long-lasting clans? Once a clan develops, the ties of blood relationship will become thin. When I had yet to be an immortal venerable, we fought with other variant human forces. Besides our unity, it was because we made use of their internal conflicts. I want to create sects, an organization that does not rely on blood relations. The human Gu immortals kept silent for a while before someone gave a forceful smile. Lord Immortal Venerable, you are correct. Once a clan dominates, it is easy for their unity to become loose. But you are different. You are the first Gu immortal to cultivate to rank 9. There might not even be a rank 9 Immortal Venerable in the future. As long as you are there in the clan, which member will dare to drift away? With your existence, this will be the clan with the strongest unity. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable nodded. You are right. But what if I am not there? How much longer can I live? The human Gu immortals were dazed. Someone said, Lord Immortal Venerable, you are at your prime right now. Another person said, we will constantly search for lifespan Gu. You will definitely be the Gu immortal who will live the longest in history. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable smiled, saying with a tranquil tone, but I will still die. Who can live forever in this world? He shook his head and sighed, replying to himself, no one. The Gu immortals were silent. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable continued. Besides lifespan Gu, other lifespan extension methods all have flaws. But even if we gather lifespan Gu, we all know that lifespan Gu will keep on decreasing in production. Isn't that so? The human Gu immortals remained silent. This is heaven's will. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable raised his head, his gaze seemingly piercing through the cave walls, directly observing the clouds and heavens. The way of heaven takes away surpluses while replenishing deficits. There has never been a supreme existence with eternal life. The tallest tree will suffer the greatest damage from the wind. A tall pile of sand will crumble from the rushing tides. New variant human experts will emerge to replace the old. Our human race is also the same. I might be invincible in the world, but it is only temporary. I will die one day. This involves the heavenly Tao, fate, as well as rules and regulations. They are all recorded in the Legends of Rinzhu. Chapter 1738. Primordial Origin Heavenly Court. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. The atmosphere in the cave became increasingly repressed. A young Gu immortal gave a forced smile. Lord Immortal Venerable, you are only a few hundred years old now. You still have thousands of years, and even more than 10,000 years of life left. Isn't it too early to consider this? Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable's expression turned solemn. He looked at the young Gu immortal with a calm gaze. The latter could not even last for a few breaths, and quickly lowered his head. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable spoke with a serious tone. He who gives no thought to far-flung problems will soon find suffering nearby. If we don't consider this early on and take precautions, after I die, all of our sacrifices will become meaningless. Our hard-earned achievements from countless battles will also crumble and disintegrate. Ignoring anything else, once I die, who among you will be able to take on the responsibility as leader once the variant humans retaliate? Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable asked. The Gu immortals looked at each other. No one spoke. Although humans had risen, they had relied on Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable alone. The others, no matter what ranks they were, or even comparing quantity, were far from matching the variant human races. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable heaved a deep sigh. Central Continent is too big. How many human Gu immortals are there? And how many variant human Gu immortals are there? What about mortals? What is the population of the entire human race, and what is the population of the variant humans? Our difference is enormous. Even if we can rule Central Continent in our lifetimes and unite this region, what about the other 4 regions? Currently, my strength has been exposed. Variant humans are deeply aware they cannot fight me, so they have already gone into hiding. We don't have any effective methods to find their accurate locations. Especially those variant human Gu immortals' grotto heavens and blessed lands. If they put them outside, we won't be able to notice them even if we are right in front of them. The immortals fully understood the intention of Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable now. Even if the human race rose, it was by relying on Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable alone. And Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable's lifespan was limited. He would die one day. Moreover, even right now, when he was still alive, it would be very difficult for the human race to unite Central Continent. Variant humans were too difficult to find. They could hide and still continue to thrive. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable was invincible, but he did not have an effective method to dig out their locations that a certain elderly man among the Gu immortals said with a heavy voice. So, based on Lord Immortal Venerable's words, the way for humanity to rule in the long term is to give up our clan system and establish sects? Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable nodded solemnly. Yes. How can we win against variant humans and provide a bright future for the whole of humanity? This is not possible with just me alone. Variant humans can hide away in the worst-case scenario. Even if I am invincible, I can only lead Central Continent's humans to independence and make them gain a stable footing in the world. If we truly want humanity to rise, we must rely on ourselves. We must expand our population and also nurture as many Gu immortals as we can. As long as our human race has stronger and many more Gu immortals than the variant humans, humanity's future will be bright. If we use the clan system, what difference is there from the variant humans? We are already extremely behind. If we keep on using this clan system, we will never be able to surpass them. Establishing sects and actively looking and excavating geniuses is the only way. Not worrying about the costs and abandoning prejudices to nurture them. Only then will we have the hope of surpassing these variant human races. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable words sent the Gu immortals into silence once again. Many had already regained their calm. They knew Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable's words were reasonable. But there were still some Gu immortals who frowned. Unable to accept this, a Gu immortal asked, "Can the sect system allow us to cooperate sincerely?" Will we really be able to become meritocratic? Does this mean there won't be internal conflict or suppression? Of course not. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable shook his head. An organization run by people will definitely have selfishness and conflict over personal gains. A clan bases its foundation on blood or marriage relations, while a sect decides based on abilities and talent. The latter is naturally more open and transparent. The limited cultivation resources will go to the more suitable people, which is more beneficial to the overall situation. That person opened his mouth but was unable to criticize the advantage of sects. He could only approach this from another angle. Does this mean clans are unable to find talents? Clans also have the system of absorbing external talents through marriages or adopting children. You are right. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable nodded. But how many marriages can you have? Even if you adopt many children, they will probably be ostracized and suppressed when compared to those blood-related descendants of the clansmen, right? The human goo immortals finally had nothing to say. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable continued in an earnest voice. I know that the sect system will not truly be accepted at first. We painstakingly seek the way of goo immortal cultivation. We paid an immeasurable price to obtain success. It is okay if we leave it to our own descendants. But a sect means that we need to give them to outsiders. But the truth is, establishing sects does not mean you are going to casually impart the profundities of your immortal cultivation to others. But you will be choosing geniuses. These geniuses must not only have great innate talent, but also have upright moral virtues. And most importantly, they must be loyal to their sect. Furthermore, even if we don't have clans, will that mean your descendants cannot receive your help? Of course not. When these people enter the respective sects, they will naturally receive your care. But I hope you keep these actions quiet and not violate the sect rules openly. As long as we defend the sect rules, our descendants, disciples, and children will also actively abide by the sect rules. As long as we create sects and be united, I believe humanity can truly rise up in the future. My influence cannot extend to the 4 regions far away, but in Central Continent, I hope that everyone will create sects and give up on the clan system. For the sake of humanity, I must emphasize this one point. Every Central Continent goo immortal needs to create or join a sect. You cannot establish a clan. Any future goo immortal will also follow this rule. If anyone breaks the rule, they will face judgment from me personally, as well as the collective force of all other goo immortals. The human goo immortals did not utter a single word. When Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable showed a tough stance, they simply could not go against him. But what made them thankful was that Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable did not blindly forbid the clan system. The sect system only applied to goo immortals. That was to say, mortals and goo masters could use the clan system to continue living. Moreover, even if goo immortals established sects, they could still take care of their descendants and friends. This could be considered as Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable's compromise towards reality, but this also showed his wisdom and foresight. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable continued. As your leader, I shall set the example. I hereby take an oath that I will create sects and not clans. I will take in disciples and impart my life's learnings to them without holding back anything. Moreover, when I die in the future, my immortal aperture will also be contributed to be the foundation of the sect, and it will not be left to my bloodline descendants. Lord Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable. You, the human goo immortals, were all shaken.At this moment. They looked towards Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable's calm expression and sensed his resolution to make sacrifices for the sake of the big picture. If even Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable was doing this, what reason did they have to not follow him? Lord Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable, you are correct. I will follow your orders. From today onwards, we will create sects and not clans. The existence of Lord Immortal Venerable is truly the blessing of humanity. Following Lord is definitely the best decision I'll make in my life. Lord Immortal Venerable, I still have some things I don't understand about the sect establishment. Do speak. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable said. What kind of sect do you want to create? Where should we build our sects? What rules does a sect have? What are the key factors in establishing a sect? Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable took a deep breath. I have already envisioned the concept of sects for a long time. This plan will involve all the possible aspects we can consider. Take me as an example. First, my sect will be named Heavenly Court. A long time past. Primordial origin immortal venerable answered the questions of all the immortals. They no longer had any doubts. He then looked at the immortals. Next, it will depend on you. I believe as long as we widely establish sects and progress, even if I die, humanity will become more prosperous. And if variant humans don't make any changes, they will definitely perish. Please have faith in me. Don't think that our sects are merely a concept and not reality. I believe as long as we go on with our plan, sects will gradually let out dazzling radiance in the long course of history. Heavenly Court and our sects will become renowned throughout the world, and we will become existences that our enemies fear. 3,817,687 years later. One Heavenly Court battlefield. The fierce battle continued. Longevity Heaven, which had obtained Giant Sun's help, occupied the upper hand. However, Heavenly Court members continued to awaken from the immortal graveyard. Who is it? Who has the guts to invade Heavenly Court? This is the fruit of our ancestors' labor. I won't allow you to destroy it. Many people have given up their blood and lives. Longevity Heaven, which operates on a mere tribal system, wants to defeat Heavenly Court? Wishful thinking. Longevity Heaven, you are despicable. For your personal gains, you incited an internal battle among humans. Our Heavenly Court is the sacred land of humanity, the sanctuary of humanity, the rightful leader of humanity. We represent the fighting spirit of humanity. It has not changed since millions of years ago. I will follow primordial origin immortal venerable, star constellation immortal venerable, and Genesis Lotus immortal venerable. I will defend our Heavenly Court with my life. Loud shouts resounded as old-looking, young-looking, male, and female Gu immortals walked out of the immortal graveyard to join the battle. Like what primordial origin immortal venerable said 3 million years ago, his Heavenly Court had become an enormous monster that loomed over the world. His spirit continued to be inherited and had never changed. Countless geniuses were found and nurtured by sects, following after the first venerable who had died long ago and upholding his spirit and ideology. The Northern Plains Gu immortals were incomparably valiant, but the Heavenly Court immortals were showing an aura of madness. Even if they did not have their immortal Gu, even if they perished together with the enemy, their faces did not show perplexity or fear. Instead, their faces seemed to shine with brightness. The glory of those who defended their beliefs. It was so dazzling and brilliant. Why? We are clearly stronger. Why are we being suppressed by Heavenly Court's momentum? Bing Sai Chuan gritted his teeth. His face turned ashen. Chapter 1739. Heavenly Court's Sacrifice. Chapter 1739. Heavenly Court's Sacrifice. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios Heavenly Court Battlefield. The battle of rank 8 Gu immortals had already become extremely tragic. Longevity Heaven. Your performance truly disappoints all of us. Heavenly Court's members really like to brag shamelessly. You have become used to being the leader for too long. Watch now as I wipe the floor with all of you. You and I both belong to the human race. Our internal conflict has actually reached such a state. Northern Plains immortals. You are courageous, but you don't have any beliefs. You will never understand our beliefs. Northern Plains Gu immortals perished constantly, but the death of every Northern Plains expert was accompanied by the lives of several Heavenly Court Gu immortals. Northern Plains. Longevity Heaven. Duke Long was extremely furious. Despite being equally matched, the Grand Heavenly Court has actually been forced to such a miserable state. Unforgivable. Boom. Duke Long suddenly raised his arms, finally breaking the sphere that trapped him. But Calamity Luck Alter and 7 Extreme Desolation quickly responded. The three tussled continuously. The situation fell into a stalemate. Quick, quick. All right, the refinement path formation has finally been repaired. Yuan Xiongdu, it all depends on you now. We will protect you. And unless we die, no one will disturb this refinement path formation. Several Heavenly Court Gu immortals called out as they defended 4 directions, forming a firm defensive line. Because Heavenly Court Gu immortals defended selflessly, the refinement path formation was repaired, and the defensive line was re-established. Bing Sichuan saw this, and quickly got away from Duke Long, trying to destroy Heavenly Court. Don't even think about it. Duke Long gave a loud shout as he used all his strength to hold back Calamity Luck Altar and 7 Extreme Desolation without any regards to his injuries. Bing Sichuan was unable to break free, so he quickly mobilized his forces. The Northern Plains Immortals attacked once again. The Heavenly Court Gu Immortals suffered heavy casualties. But with Gu Immortals constantly awakening from the Immortal Graveyard and filling up the gaps, the defensive line instead became more firm than before. Good. Now is the time. Lu wanted to quietly sneak in, but his expression soon changed as his concealment was gone and his true body was revealed that a Heavenly Court Gu Immortal, with a large amount of jade pearls floating around him, flew towards him with killing intent. You are the one? The culprit who is stained with the blood of many of my Heavenly Court friends. Your crimes shall end here. Is that Senior Yu Zhu? Yuan Xiongdu, who was just about to enter the formation, saw this scene by chance and was extremely happy that in history, Rank 8 Gu Immortal Yu Zhu was most proficient at exposing concealment. From the amount of jade pearls floating around him, he no doubt had most of his immortal Gu. As such, Lu was restrained by him. We can win. With so many Heavenly Court seniors here, we can definitely win. No, more accurately saying, victory will inevitably and naturally belong to my Heavenly Court. Yuan Xiongdu's eyes flashed with resolution. He entered the Gu formation once again and had just taken control of it when he pleasantly discovered this refinement path formation was much superior than the previous one. So that's it. To restore Fate Gu, our seniors have added in so many immortal Gu. Tears appeared in Yuan Xiongdu's eyes. The more immortal Gu used in this refinement path formation, the fewer immortal Gu the Gu Immortals would have. They were more likely to die in the battlefield. This was their sacrifice, a willing sacrifice. I need to continue repairing Fate Gu. Yuan Xiongdu sat cross-legged. His expression was tranquil, but a fire was burning in his heart that it was blazing. A deep memory surfaced within the fire. His master was standing before him. Little Du, you are sleeping at the back of the mountain again. It is not good if you are so lazy all the time. The young Yuan Xiongdu woke up with a resentful expression. Master, he mumbled and said angrily. Master, why don't you transfer me back? I like Fire Path. A true man should choose Fire Path. But Little Du, your talent in Refinement Path is extremely shocking. So Master made you cultivate Refinement Path. In comparison, your Fire Path talent is too ordinary. But I like Fire Path. It looks so cool and awesome in fights. As for Refinement Path, I have to constantly stay in a secret room and endlessly refine Gu. Not to mention there is high cost. Gu refinement fails frequently and all the effort will be wasted. More importantly, there is a huge danger in refining Gu just like in battle. Rather than dying from depression from refining Gu, I would rather use Fire Path and die grandly in the battlefield. One is Master sighed helplessly and said in a serious tone, Little Du, you have to choose Refinement Path not because you like it, but because it is your responsibility. Our Refinement Path faction really needs a genius like you to invigorate it. Don't let your temperament get the better of you. Little Du, you are already a man. You should accept your responsibility, understood? Young Yuan Xiongdu flung his head back indignantly. Tisk understood. If this is Master's order, I will obey it. His master sighed again. It is not an order, it is your responsibility. Moreover, cultivating Refinement Path is quite delightful as well. You will feel this delight one day. So, take on the responsibility and refine Gu happily. How can that ever happen? The lazy me has never experienced a moment when such a heavy responsibility weighs down on my shoulders. Right. There is also another feeling, joy. Hee ha ha. Yuan Xiongdu curled his lips up as he laughed in his head. Tears were overflowing on his face. Master, I finally understand your words. Your disciple did not disappoint you in the end. There is simply no need to divert my attention to protect myself with these comrades here. I do not need to worry. Let's make a push for it. When Fate Gu is completely repaired, I will have completed my responsibility and will not have let down everyone's expectations. After that, I shall happily embrace death. Yuan Xiongdu smiled as he activated a forbidden move. Once this move was used, whether the Gu refinement succeeds or fails, his death would be certain. But so what if that was the case? Some things were much more important than an individual's life. Hidden Dragon Cave Battlefield Point 4 Eastern Sea Gu immortals were surrounding Dragon Palace and attacking madly. The 4 dragon generals were suppressed and could only rely on Dragon Palace to defend themselves. It seems that becoming a dragon man is not without a cost. Come out, didn't you want to trap us? Now, you are hiding inside the immortal Gu house. A bunch of cowards. You really underestimated us. Song Qi Yuan, Qing Yuan, and the rest were furious as they activated powerful killer moves one after the other, firmly suppressing the other's side. Even a kind person gets angry at times, let alone these 4 Eastern Sea rank 8 Gu immortals. Duke Long's scheme and the betrayal of Zhang Yin's group thoroughly infuriated them. They erupted with an extremely powerful battle strength. When comparing the temperament of people in the 5 regions, Eastern Sea was the most gentle and compromising. But such an unmoving and calm sea also had the side of torrential waves and tsunamis. When Eastern Sea people were truly angered, their enemies would comprehend what terror truly was. Suddenly, the attacks of Song Qi Yuan's group slowed down. Someone is here. Who is it? It is clearly Heavenly Court's reinforcements. Song Qi Yuan's group of 4 quickly changed their tactics. 2 continued to attack Dragon Palace, while the other 2 flew out to fight off enemy reinforcements. I can only send you all here. An old Heavenly Court Gu immortal smiled as his body turned into light specks and dissipated. His lifespan was exhausted. Qin Song, you can go peacefully. It is our turn now. These were a number of Heavenly Court Gu immortals that were carefully chosen by Fairy Z Wei. Laughable. Coming over so eagerly. You old-timers want us to observe your deaths? Hua Kai Yun and Shun Tsong Sheng charged forward. Eastern Sea scoundrels, don't even dream about getting Dragon Palace. Old-timer who has a leg in his coffin already. Why don't you just die obediently? Boom, boom, boom. Both sides fought immediately. Infallible blessed land battlefield. Roar. Countless dragon roars resounded throughout the whole battlefield. Immortal killer move. Myriad ghost sword dragon. This compound killer move that comprised ancient sword dragon transformation, myriad self, Yama child, Emperor Yama, and familiar face, was activated once again. He is Fang Yuan. Quick, protect the formation, we can't let him succeed. Fang Yuan, you have such guts. Fang Yuan sneered. You want to stop me now? Too late. Thanks to Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's attack that had attracted the attention of Central Continent's Gu immortals, Fang Yuan was able to activate his killer move smoothly. Myriad Ghost Sword Dragon was extraordinary. Not only did it have huge power, it was also difficult to get rid of. After all, this move expended Fang Yuan's soul path down marks. It was similar to Wu Yang's Unlimited Wind. The 9-9 consecutive unceasing formation might be powerful, but its inner core was still weak. After Fang Yuan's countless ghost dragons wreaked havoc, it was already showing signs of collapsing. Fang Yuan turned into Emperor Yama. Myriad dragons roared around him, and his cold eyes looked at the Central Continent Gu immortals who were helpless to do anything. The 9-9 consecutive unceasing formation started to crumble at its core, from inside to outside. The formation's collapse inflicted powerful backlash to the Central Continent Gu immortals. Without Fang Yuan having to attack, many were heavily injured and on the verge of dying. Fang Yuan really succeeded. Wu Yong mumbled with a complicated expression. Quick, attack them. Yao Huang shouted. His aged and listless attitude was gone as he led the charge heroically. Let me deal with Prince Feng Xian. All of you leave. Hairyfoot Mountain, the location of infallible blessed land, was exposed. You want to repair fake Gu? Humph, wishful thinking. Although it is a slight pity to destroy infallible blessed land, let's end this here. Fang Yuan laughed malevolently as he pointed like an emperor. Countless sword dragons charged down like his fearless soldiers. With me here, don't even think about it. Fang Yuan. At the crucial moment, a figure appeared and blocked the countless ghost dragons. Rank 8 Fire Path Expert. Li Huang. Immortal Killer Move. Verdant Sun Flame Cloak. Countless ghost dragons were filled with drunkenness before they even neared and combusted spontaneously. With me, Li Huang. Here, None of you shall move forward. Li Huang shouted. Is that so? Then I will let you have a taste of the consecutive move of myriad ghost sword dragon. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with cold light. Immortal killer move. Myriad fusion ghost dragon sword. Within a few breaths of time, countless ghost dragons gathered into one, forming an enormous pitch-black dragon-marked soul sword. When the soul sword floated in the air, its tip was pointing towards Li Huang, but it did not move. Immortal killer move. Luo Pasil. Fang Yuan struck the soul sword with Luo Pasil.The the next moment. The soul sword quickly stabbed forward. Li Huang hesitated for a moment. The soul sword's speed was astonishing, but he could still dodge with his speed. But right now, he could not dodge. He had to face it head-on. The soul sword quietly pierced through Li Huang. The flames subsided. Li Huang's face became as pale as a dead man's. His eyes were wide open in disbelief. His body collapsed like a kite with its string cut. You dared to face the combined power of both my moves? It was a valiant effort, but you could not be any more foolish. Fang Yuan glanced indifferently that Li Huang was dead. Chapter 1740. Karma Relocation. Lord Li Huang. Oh heavens, how could this happen? Good job. An infallible blessed land battlefield. Li Huang's corpse fell, shocking countless people. Fang Yuan laughed malevolently as he continued to charge towards Hairy Foot Mountain while projecting his icy voice throughout the whole battlefield. Anyone who dares to block me will face this ending. In an instant, his awe-inspiring demonic might shocked everyone. Central Continent's morale fell greatly. A dark light flashed past Wu Yang's eyes, while Yao Huang's group was greatly stunned. Chu Du's expression was slightly complicated. Back when Fang Yuan was undergoing tribulation while rank 6, he had fought with Fang Yuan. Who could have thought that in just a few years, Fang Yuan had already become a person whom he had to look up to? Counting the first time I used Myriad Ghost Sword Dragon. This time's Myriad Sword Ghost Dragon usage, as well as Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword. About 10,000 of my Soul Path Dao marks have been expended. Fang Yuan analyzed in his head. Myriad Ghost Sword Dragon was powerful, but it permanently expended Fang Yuan's Soul Path Dao marks. 1 activation of Myriad Ghost Sword Dragon expended 4,000 Soul Path Dao marks. After killing Li Huang, Fang Yuan's Soul Path Dao marks had been shaved off by 10,000 naturally. Fang Yuan did not have so many Soul Path Dao marks yet. He was substituting them with Transformation Path Dao marks. In short, Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword was a powerful move that could kill Li Huang, who possessed Verdant Sunflame Cloak. But the cost was extremely high as well. The significance of Dao marks was obvious to a Gu immortal. Permanently expending Dao marks was directly reducing one's foundation. It could not be used easily unless absolutely necessary. Moreover, this move had a flaw. The Soul Sword speed was not outstanding and could be dodged easily. Fang Yuan knew that Li Huang was protecting Hairy Foot Mountain and could not casually dodge the attack, so he used this move. Hairy Foot Mountain. Looking at Hairy Foot Mountain that was getting closer in his vision, Fang Yuan gave a moved sigh. Who could have thought the majestic and renowned infallible blessed land would be on Hairy Foot Mountain? From the outside, this mountain was extremely ordinary. It was like an inconspicuous hill. But in truth, it was one of the most important areas to Heavenly Court in order to repair Fate Gu, and now had become an area to determine victory or defeat in this arduous battle. Fang Yuan. At the next moment, another figure appeared and blocked Fang Yuan's path. It was Chun Yi. Wu Yong did not kill you. Then let me end your life instead. Fang Yuan called out as he prepared Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword once again. Chun Yi's face turned solemn. Even Li Huang had perished. He did not have any confidence in facing Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword. This is... At the crucial moment, Chun Yi suddenly felt his chest burning as if a hot iron was pressed on his flesh. That a powerful and mysterious force circulated and permeated his body. Following the surging of this strength, Chun Yi's clothes were ripped apart, revealing his chest. There was a painting on his chest, the painting of a tall tree wavering in the wind. Ah! Chun Yi cried out in shock. Isn't this painting the one which was engraved on my body when I inherited Genesis Lotus True Inheritance many years ago? At the same time, information was directly transmitted to his mind. This is Lord Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's arrangement. Chun-Yi was surprised and happy. He quickly activated the strongest ability according to this information. Immortal Killer Move, Karma Divine Tree. Immediately, green smoke rose from Chun-Yi's body. The smoke gathered 6 feet above his head, gradually slowing down to a stop and circulating within itself, forming into the shape of a tree. The tree was thick and sturdy with dense amounts of branches and lush leaves, and there were dozens of fruits hanging on it. But these fruits were very weird. They were in all kinds of shapes, colors, and sizes. Some were like black peaches, some were pink but large like a basin, some had spikes on them, some had transparent skin. The flesh and core could be seen from the outside. Karma Divine Tree formed quickly, and the power within the painting transferred to Karma Divine Tree. Chun-Yi seemed to have heard Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's voice. Look closely. This is the consecutive move built upon Karma Divine Tree. Karma Relocation. The killer move activated, as if intense winds were blowing. The green smoke flickered as Karma Divine Tree started to sway and dance in the wind. Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword attacked like a meteoric thunderbolt. But just when it neared Karma Divine Tree, with a whoosh, Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword suddenly disappeared. What? Fang Yuan was shocked that instant. He sensed that his connection to his killer move Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword became negligible, as if Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword was suddenly worlds apart from him. What method is this? It seems like instant transportation. Fang Yuan immediately narrowed his eyes as sharp light flashed past them. The connection between immortal killer moves and Gu Immortals had a certain limit in range. When it surpassed this limit, the immortal killer move would usually break apart. Fang Yuan's Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword was based on the killer move Myriad Ghost Sword Dragon and carried the trait of enslavement path. Thus, he could still maintain a trace of connection even if it was teleported over 10,000 li away. But this connection was extremely faint. If it surpassed this distance even a little, the killer move would collapse by itself. If that happened, Fang Yuan would suffer the backlash of killer move failure. Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword was so powerful, its backlash absolutely would not be weak and would definitely make him cough out blood. It can forcibly teleport killer moves. Wu Yong obtained the information from Fang Yuan. Then let me see how you deal with my farewell friend Wind. Wu Yong sneered. His figure appeared behind Chun-Yi Immortal Killer Move. Farewell friend Wind. But Wu Yong had just touched Chun-Yi's shoulder when his vision changed. In an instant, he was teleported away from infallible blessed land, returning to southern border. This? Wu Yong was dumbfounded as he stood at the peak of the mountain. Soon afterwards, he came to his senses. His face was extremely dark as he quickly sent the information. Even rank 8 Gu Immortals can be forcibly sent away? What killer move is this? Karma Divine Tree still had such a mysterious ability? The southern border and northern plains Immortals were shaken, while central continent's morale rose again. We will continue defending like this. Chun-Yi was exulted, but Fang Yuan's voice made him solemn once more. Fang Yuan shouted, I found it. His teleportation ability seems to be unstoppable, but there is a limit in the amount of times he can use it, because after using it twice, 2 fruits were consumed. It was discovered so quickly. Chun-Yi smiled bitterly. Let me try. Heavenly Lord Baizu flew over. His body shook slightly as he split into countless clones and charged forward like a giant wave. This was a classic enslavement path battle tactic, a battle of attrition style. Karma Divine Tree swayed with the wind. A fruit suddenly disappeared. Heavenly Lord Baizu's main body disappeared. Fang Yuan's group received his message shortly afterwards. He was teleported to Eastern Sea. The Immortals were in a clamor. Fang Yuan sank into deep thought. This time, Heavenly Lord Baizu's main body was directly teleported away. The enslavement path battle tactic has failed. According to conventional reasoning, shouldn't it be teleporting each clone? It actually directly affected the main body. This time, Yao Huang's group charged over. Slow down, Brother Chu, you guys attack first. Fang Yuan instructed. Chu Du attacked. He used a long-range attack on Chun-Yi, but he quickly disappeared on the spot. He was teleported back to northern plains, ending up in the northern icy plain. Moreover, because the distance was too long, he lost connection with the killer move he used. The killer move broke apart, and he suffered the backlash. Several people attacked next, but they were all teleported away. Fang Yuan suddenly came to a realization. It seems that my main body is not influenced by this killer move because I am a complete otherworldly demon. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan started a fierce wave of offense. However, Karma Divine Tree might be unable to influence him, but it could affect his killer moves. Fang Yuan's methods were all teleported away. The range was either far or short. Some were teleported to some place in Central Continent. Some were sent to other 4 regions, and some were even teleported to Black Heaven and White Heaven. Naturally, Chun-Yi also did not have a good time. That it did not take long before he began to bleed from his 7 orifices, and his face was getting increasingly pale. The burden to sustain such a wondrous killer move was clearly huge. Damn it, Hairy Foot Mountain is clearly in front of us, but because of Chun-Yi alone. Yao Huang clenched his teeth in helplessness. Qing Yi and the rest quickly arrived and fought against the Northern Plains and Southern Border Immortals. Fang Yuan dodged the attack of wind-sweeping building and sent many myriad ghost sword dragons to attack Qin-Yi. Karma Divine Tree was constantly shaking. Countless myriad ghost sword dragons disappeared, teleported to random locations. It was okay for those that were teleported nearby, but those that were teleported far away broke apart immediately, inflicting backlash on Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan felt that this situation was troublesome. Weak killer moves cannot expend Karma Divine Tree's fruits even if they are teleported away. A strong killer move can expend 1 fruit, but if it is teleported beyond the distance I can control, I will have to endure the backlash, and might even be heavily injured if I am unlucky. Fang Yuan did not dare to use Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword. He currently did not have Winter Coat or Reverse Flow Protection Seal to rely on. His defensive methods were weaker than Li Huang's. If Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword failed, he would be in great trouble from the backlash. Fang Yuan's luck was quite good, as the previous Myriad Fusion Ghost Dragon Sword did not inflict backlash on him. What do I do now? Fang Yuan was anxious. Bing Sichuan had been transmitting the situation in Heavenly Court to him. Fang Yuan knew that the repair of Fate Gu had started again. This is a wood path method. I don't have much attainment in this path, and won't be able to decipher it within a short period of time. Looks like I can only use a crude method. We will compete in a battle of attrition. By Ning Bing, you all can go ahead and fight now. Fang Yuan's eyes shined sharply as he sent the command resolutely. By Ning Bing and other rank 7 Gu immortals charged towards Hairy Foot Mountain. Karma Divine Tree activated. Every time it teleported a rank 7 Gu immortal, a fruit was expended. Fang Yuan actually found the best countermeasure so quickly. Chun-Yi felt anxious. His eyes were filled with blood, and he was in a very weak condition. A large number of rank 7 Gu immortals were teleported away. Finally, Karma Divine Tree's fruits were all spent. Karma Divine Tree, without any fruits, faded away with the wind. Chun-Yi lowered his head. His aura had fallen to an extreme point of weakness. You dare to block my way, die? Fang Yuan charged fiercely.